Hey everyone, so today we're going to be talking about Gavin. Also, please bear with me. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, but I'm still going to bring you a video. But today's video is on Gavin. I've been seeing a lot of videos from Machine again, utilizing Gavin in dungeons, mainly on these higher dungeons. So I did partially book mine, and then I have him ascended A1 just for the bonus attack. He's actually been a bit of a surprise, which is cool. Although, I will say, I don't think he's working the way he's supposed to, which is a bummer. But we'll get into that a little bit more here in a second. But let's talk about him, okay? So his trait says attacks ignore 35% of the target's defense, so that is baseline. That's pretty nice. And then it says the percentage is increased by 15% for every one positive effect on this hero. So it can go up to 90%. So if he has, an additional 4 buffs on him, he's going to hit that 95% cap because you'll be at 60% on top of the initial 35. And then if he is Ascended 5, he'll get a random attack stats up for 2 turns. And this is a 1-round cooldown. So on his first turn, he'll get another random attack stats up, which plays into his trait to ignore more defense. Now, the thing that I wanted to mention whenever I said that he's not working the way that he's supposed to is this ignore defense is only applying to certain attacks. It applies to his ultimate or whenever he uses his own turn, but if he gets bonus attacks or his counter attack, it doesn't seem like his attacks are ignoring defense, and we'll show that in a couple runs here. I'll show you the difference in damage between the ultimate versus the counter attack. So he has a basic ability that deals 130% damage and then gains random attack stats up. This is a very good basic, plays into his trait, ignoring additional defense. So pretty straightforward, but still a good basic for what Gavin's trying to do. So then he has a passive ability that says when attacked, if this hero has 2 or more positive effects, launches a counterattack with this ability to deal 165% damage to one enemy, and then he recovers health equal to 30% of that damage dealt, and then duplicates one of the enemy's positive effects. So if the enemy has a positive effect on himself, he will then steal it. So this is the ability that I don't think is ignoring enemy defense, which is frustrating because he would be so much better if he worked the way that his trait reads. Now, I could definitely see the devs saying something along the lines of active attacks, right? It doesn't say it here. It should say active attacks or attacks on this opponent on this character's turn or something like that, but it reads that all of his attacks should just always ignore defense, and his passive does not do that. So you should be getting a bonus attack with him almost all the time because he should always have 2 or more positive effects. Okay, so anytime he's attacked, you should always be counterattacking, and that's really good because 165% damage is nice, along with taking a positive effect and healing. So very strong. So this ultimate ability deals 200% damage to one enemy and gains immune for 2 turns. If the enemy has positive effects or their health is below 50%, it launches a bonus attack with the special ability, which we just saw in this passive. It says passive, but it's a special ability. I know. It just the wording on the characters is not good, but he goes into his passive. So the immune I actually thought was kind of a bad buff, but for Tulpa it is good because Tulpa ends up having a unhealable effect on himself, or applies it to an enemy, which can really hurt considering that Tulpa also puts up bleeding. Whenever you trigger some kind of bonus attack with him, it's that spirit link thing that the witch does. So the immune is actually relevant for Gavin. It's one of the downsides of Rosalie, actually. Rosalie will end up killing herself with all of the counterattacks on higher stages of the dungeons because she can't cleanse the unhealable, and then the bleedings end up killing her. So this is a relevant ultimate. So the gear that I have him in is just straight speed. So he's at 214 speed. This actually works for Witch of the Wind too, because I run him with Nero. So it's nice that I can have one build to run Gavin for Tulpa, and then one build to run Gavin for Witch of the Wind. So these are the stats I have, and again, shout out to Machine who basically drove me to Gavin. I did not discover him or anything like that. He's been the real pioneer and pilot of that, so props to him. So decent stats here. He's not fully booked, but he has all the gear, and most of his ability tree is booked, but he is not fully booked. So I could definitely get some extra stats out of him, but he does the thing that I wanted to do, which is helps me farm Tulpa and helps me farm Witch of the Wind. So this is his gear, just straight speed, Raider set, I mean. So he's got speed, crit damage, attack percentage, crit damage, crit rate, attack percentage, crit damage, crit rate, attack percentage, speed, crit rate, crit damage with speed and crit rate, and then attack percentage with speed and crit damage and a little bit of crit rate. He's got crit damage on both the Grail and the Crest, and then he has health with damage received from wood, all of these things. This is really nice, damage against wood for counterattacks that Tulpa does. So let's jump into a Tulpa run, and I'll show you why he's not working the way that he's supposed to be working, which is on his bonus abilities. So we'll slow it down here whenever a Gavin goes into attack. Okay, so we have our Flarence here. Okay, so right now he has one effect on him, which should be 50% damage, right? So he'll end up putting the immunity up on himself, so he should be ignoring an additional 15%, so 65%, right? Because baseline 35% on his trait, and then he'll get 15% additional ignore, so that's 15 already, so he's already at 50%, and then whenever he puts up the immune buff, it'll be another 15%. So we'll go in here. So there's the immune, and then as you saw there, the bonus attack just did absolutely nothing, and he should have had 65% ignore defense, right? So I don't see it working the way that it's supposed to be working, or the way it reads. It might be working as intended, as the old joke goes. But yeah. Okay, so then his normal attack, right? So now he's got 3 positive effects up, which is an additional 45% on top of the 35%. So that's 80% ignore defense. And okay, yeah, so this is just the bonus attack. But so his active attack. I'm hoping this is making sense. I'm saying it and I'm already confusing myself. We'll put this back on auto and we'll go fight the boss. Okay, so we're at the boss now, right? So Gavin has 2 positive effects up. He's about to get up his other positive effect with the shield. So he has 3 positive effects. So remember, that's 45% additional defense ignored, right? Pretty strong. On top of the 35. So he's ignoring 80% defense. Then he'll put up the immune. I believe he puts this up before he attacks. So it should be at the 90% cap. But you'll see how much damage the initial attack does. And then the follow-up attack with with his passive ability, because they have positive effects, he has this increased defense. It counts as a positive effect. Okay, so he doesn't put up the immune. So look how much damage that did. And then the bonus attack is just doing absolutely nothing. So only his first initial attack, or his active attack that you pick, ignores defense, which is really annoying. But anyway, also the turn order here is really important for that reason. That countering blow, you want Gavin to go in front of Rosalie, because it will be just enough bonus attacks for the Tulpa to have his rage up, and you want the bonus attack to come on Rosalie, because she has the invincible up. So here you just need to survive this last attack, and then the curse ends up killing Tulpa. So, yeah, Gavin strong, right? Ignoring the defense, but the bummer is he doesn't work the way that I think he works. He should be ignoring defense on every single attack, or they need to change the wording on the trait and say only active attacks ignore 35% defense, because it's false advertising. So same thing with Witch of the Wind here on stage 17. So this is the team here. So A5 Nero allows 15 speed already. And then on top of that, whenever the Witch counterattacks, because whenever she is attacked by a negative affinity or a light hero, essentially, she will counterattack immediately. And then that puts up the reduced speed on the Witch, which then allows Gavin to go in front of the Witch. So you'll see here, we'll run this full speed, and we'll have we'll show Gavin's damage output on the initial attack, but then his counter attack also does good damage, but the counter attack from his own ability does not do good damage. So it's just like all over the place. So all of these attacks you see are just doing really solid damage. But when it comes to the bonus attack from either Flarence or the counterattack from his ability, it's just a different story. Okay, so here is his counterattack from the Pixie, and then the counterattack from his ability. So the Pixie counterattack did a lot more damage, and the counterattack from his ability didn't do any damage. The same thing here with the bonus attack on the special ability. It's supposed to be doing a lot of damage, and it just isn't. But you see the speed down from the Nero and all of those things, which allowed Gavin to go in front. So this is the team I'm using. I like that I booked Gavin just so I'm able to farm Witch, because I'm really interested in the immunity gear and the elemental bonus from Tulpa, and that I'm just going to wait until they nerf these dungeons, because they're way too overtuned, and then we'll eventually scale up onto the higher levels. So that's it, guys. Just a quick little video on Gavin. I think he's a really solid option for Witch of the Wind and also Tulpa. I've also seen some videos of Gemini being accomplishable, although he is, at least on Machine's video, he's fully booked and he's Ascended 5. I'm not doing the Ascension 5. I don't know if it's needed or not, but I was very impressed with Machine's output on Gavin, which made me want to invest in him, and I'm glad I did, although I wish his trait actually worked the way it read and not how it actually works in practice. But that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you on the next one.